But just looking for simple opportunities to invest in people change things. I'll tell you my favorite story I've ever heard on investing in people. I spoke for Delta Airlines a few months ago. They flew me to Atlanta. They brought in all their managers from all the airports around the world. There's about 3,000 people in this ballroom. I gave a similar speech to the one I'm giving today on partnership as the new leadership. We talked about this idea of investing in people. Afterwards, I'm doing a book signing, and this guy comes up, and he said, can I share a story of where I invested in one of my people? And I said, sure. He said, I'm a below-wing manager. And I said, okay, what does that mean? He said, my team's in charge of everything below the wing. Baggage, food, anything that comes up below the wing, that's our job. He said, I get to work every day at about 5 in the morning. And my first shift, I go out and I throw bags with my guys. I already like this guy. And he goes, we go out there and I throw bags, and I've got some other responsibilities, so I go to my office, but I just want to make sure we're all starting on the same page. And there's this guy on my team, his name's Tony. And Tony is way too chipper at 5 in the morning. Like, just annoyingly so. Like, he's like, hey guys, we're like, shut up, Tony. Like, just one of those guys, right? And you love him, but you kind of hate him at the same time. And he said, one day I'm out there, and Tony, he's like depressed. Something's wrong. So I looked over, and I'm like, Tony, are you okay? And he goes, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But he wasn't. So I asked him again. I'm like, Tony, what's going on? He said, I said, don't worry about it. I'll be okay. And so I go back to my office. He's like, I couldn't get Tony out of my mind. So I called him into my office right before lunch, and I was like, Tony, what's going on? And he goes, I told you not to worry about it. He goes, I am worried about it. He said, you're my friend. You don't have to talk to me, but if you're willing to talk, I'm willing to listen. And so Tony sat down, and he opened up to his manager, and he shared that the night before, he and his wife found out they can't have kids. They'd been trying, had all these tests, been doing everything they could, and it just wasn't in the cards. And this manager sat, and he empathized with his friend. He listened. At one point, the manager said, Tony, I want to do something for you. And Tony goes, that's the problem. You can't do anything. You can't fix this. And he got up and he left. And this manager sat there and he's like, I got to do something. So the only thing he could think of, during his lunch, he put together a packet of information on Lutheran adoption services. After lunch, he brought it to Tony. He goes, Tony, look, I'm not trying to push an agenda. I just put this together I wanted to do something. I want you to know that I care. This is all I could come up with. Tony took the packet of information. They never even talked about it. He said after a couple months, Tony went back to his annoying chipper self at 5 in the morning. About 6 or 8 months later, this manager's sitting in his office. Tony walked in one day. He put a picture of a little boy on his desk, and he said, I want you to be this boy's godfather. And I'm at the back of this ballroom, and I'm crying, and this manager's crying. And this manager looked at me and he said, Ty, when you invest in people, they become family.